If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do just one more video, unless something happens that I haven't seen, about Astroworld, or of course if something comes out of it where there's a major news story again about it. But I wanted to cover it again because there's a few things floating around. Some that's misinformation, of course, that the mainstream media is trying to push to discredit truthers. That has to do with the Simpsons. While there are some truths in the show with this Astroworld thing, there's people are using fan art and thinking it's actually from the show. So the mainstream media has picked up the story, of course, so they can run with it and crap all over conspiracy theorists, because that's what they have to do to condition the masses into dismissing people like us from ever speaking about certain topics, because they discredit us and say that we don't know what we're talking about. So I'm going to show you that in a second. Here's a few things, though, because a lot of people did really good videos on it, and I missed a few things in the beginning of my video. I think I did it the day it happened or the next day. So some people have come out with stuff since then that's really good. One of the things I didn't see was Sia on the other side on his stage. I mean, can you make it up, Sia on the other side, right? Nothing strange about that. Nothing. What's on the other side, Travis Scott? What's on the other side, right? And then, another thing that I wanted to cover, in addition to the insanity that occurred there, was Kylie Jenner. Remember I talked about Kylie Jenner? She. I don't know what she identifies as, or he identifies. Anyway, I covered this on my backup channel October 9th of this year. Kylie Jenner is the mother of Travis Scott's children. I don't know if they're on, I really don't know or care if they're on or off again, but it's important to know this because the Kardashian family is a family that's constantly surrounded by blood, death, satanic occult stuff, because they're high-ranking Armenian witches, like I covered in my first video. This was a video where she's literally doing a bloodbath. And of course, they link it to, Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's October, because that's what they want to do. So in case anybody actually calls them out for because this has everything to do with makeup, right? Covering yourself in red liquid like blood. Is this what girls are doing now? Covering their body? I mean, what? Well, they tell you it has to do with a makeup brand. It doesn't. It has to do with blood sacrifice. So this came out right around the date that I published it on October 9th. It came out in the beginning of October. And again, she was in attendance. Has a child with him. It was on her mother's 66th birthday celebration. They were having a big party on her 66th. So you get the numerology there, which is obvious numerology. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. And then you had her, of course, doing this blood-like ritual, covering herself in the blood at this event where, we saw what happened to the people at the show. And it's unfortunate a lot of people went into cardiac arrest and things like that. And the show continued, people were saying that the show continued on. They didn't cancel it quick enough, and he wasn't paying attention. I mean, these are things that they all do on purpose, okay? We know how they operate. We know how the occult works. Nobody should be surprised. Now, this is the other thing I wanted to cover about The Simpsons. We all know that The Simpsons constantly have predictive programming, right? We've seen the thing with the towers in New York covered. And other shows, of course, other cartoons have covered, the thing in Boston. We've seen The Simpsons with Trump, showing Trump, becoming the president. We've seen, the Virgin Atlantic guy going up into space, going up into Mars. We've seen stuff with, all these things that they've shown on here, because this is how they work, right? They know this stuff and they prep people for it. Like I've said a million times, this is sigil magic. So they wanted people to take this photograph and run with it and say, look, they showed them going into Astroworld, and then piece together these pieces from episodes where there actually was a trampling. And there was actually, this newspaper article from 1992 where Batboy accurately predicts Final Four. That's because back then, for those of you who weren't old enough to remember, the Inquirer, I believe it was, which is, probably more truth in the Inquirer than there is. No, there's not. There is more truth in the Inquirer than there is on CNN. Ran a story about a Batboy. And again, I covered it with his album cover, or at least the image he was using on his YouTube videos, where the true dystopia is here. When the end arrives, it's really the beginning, right? So, of course, there's symbolism with this stuff. And then the Simpsons showing it. Now, does that mean that the Simpsons predicted anything? No, of course not. But people were creeped out by it because they saw that, they remembered this episode, apparently. I mean, I don't sit and watch The Simpsons, but a lot of people pointed it out online. And then, of course, like I said, they wanted this picture of them entering through the mouth, like you saw at Astroworld, was photoshopped in 2018 from somebody who was a fan of Travis Scott's. And people saw that and they said The Simpsons, no, they knew it, because they put in these clips of Bart being at the concert, and then there was kind of like an uprising, so to speak. No cliche there, no pun intended. And, everybody kind of tramples on top of one of the kids that's there with Bart. So the media they didn't go, crazy over it. It's not like it's, but I mean, it is all over the place. New York Post, CNN, a lot of these fake outlets want to cover this stuff when it happens because they go, look, they took a Photoshop photo and they used it and they said that there's a conspiracy. See, these people don't know what they're talking about. So that's why you got to be careful when you see stuff like this. I don't blame anybody out there for doing that if they actually truly believe that. And I do believe that they did. Because why would anybody, who would be making fan art? I mean, I don't know. I guess people do that stuff. I feel like I make fun of too many things. You should see me out in public. It's really... Just get me look at people watching to make fun of everything. But, I mean, anyway, people are making this type of fan art, and a lot of people don't realize that. So I wanted to cover that and let people know, since they're doing that and they're doing it to discredit anybody with the truth. And, of course, it comes out after a lot of people like myself and other really good channels who are way better than me came out with videos. And they were showing this stuff. They were showing the stuff with souls that he said before and talked about. Showing what it was showing on the screen. Obviously, the flames just going up and looking like hell on earth at this place. And of course, I wanted to point out in this video, showing you that thing with Kylie Jenner, because I don't believe I put it in my last video, but I did mention how the Jenners and the Kardashians have connections with all this stuff, right? From, Khloe with Lamar, Kim with Kanye, with the ritual they just did. I covered it 2 months ago with the Black Mass that had Marilyn Manson there. I mean, you can't make up how connected these people are, and then the things that surround them, right? It's really insane. So she happens to do this bloodbath ritual where they come out and they go, it's for Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. When, first of all, Nightmare on Elm Street's like what? 40 years old at this point? It came out in the 80s. I mean, 40 years old? I mean, I don't even know if Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy Krueger, is alive. But of all the things she picked that, she probably wasn't even old enough to see the movie when it came out. But no, she wasn't even alive. But she just happens to pick that. But this doesn't even reference, Freddy Krueger. You think of Freddy Krueger, you think of the long hand with the nails, right? That's what everybody thinks of. This is just her dripping in blood, dripping off her hand, coming out of her mouth, her body covered in it. Can't even show all the pictures because, of course, YouTube will allow this on YouTube, that Kylie to post it. But me, they'll say that I'm putting up XXX type imagery, right? So that must have been a coincidence as well, right? That's what we're all supposed to believe. Everything is just a giant coincidence. Well, for the naive fools it is, but for us, it's not. So you saw what happened at Astroworld. I wanted to cover it again for you. And again, I want to remind everyone, this video with Kylie Jenner is on my backup channel. I'll leave it linked below. I definitely recommend you check it out if you haven't. I go into greater detail about the actual bloodbath. This is a satanic, if you're somebody who's new to this stuff, the satanic baptism, they do baptisms in blood, whether it's animals or humans. Of course, they don't want to tell, everyone denies it, and they're like, we don't do that kind of stuff. We're atheists. We don't believe in the devil. Huh? Absolutely, that makes sense. But you're the satanic church and satanic, sure. Mm-hmm. And I was born at 4 p.m. today, okay? Yeah, no. That's what they want you to think, and that's what they want to tell you. So I go into detail about that in the video. So it's linked up below. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell while you're over there. Like I said earlier, this channel is one strike away from termination. So if you like to watch the content all the time, check it out. And again, you can check out the website at callfornuprising.com. I highly recommend you join. You don't have to worry about what you say over there, within reason, of course. But I mean, I could do videos and I could say whatever I want. And, the stuff people are posting, again, from their towns, what they're seeing going on around them. People are posting stuff from their grocery stores, showing the lack of stuff on the shelves, showing Soylent products, all sorts of stuff. People are posting experiments that they're doing on, the blood of people who have taken a potion and showing some of that, that soft metal. So there's a lot of good stuff over there, and it's important that people join it. So if you can, please do so now. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so much for your support. God bless all of you and your families.